Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and
I'm
call
too full.
our meeting to order. This is the Marine Activity Advisory Committee meeting. And today, it's now 9:59 a.m. and we're gonna call the meeting to order. I believe last time I asked and/or John agreed to be our parliamentarian. So if there's questions about procedure or even our quorum, I'll call on you to give me that information. I want to let everyone know that John may not be able to join us. He has a conflict at the last minute. And Mike Reynolds also is not going to be able to join us. So that's two that are not here. Dave is actually, his term ends September the 24th, so I think we have to consider him still a member of the committee.
He resigned.
Okay. Did he resign?
That's what he told us. Yeah.
Well, so I guess we don't have to count him. I know in his email to us, he said that his term was up, so therefore he wanted you and I to take up the meeting. So I'm not sure what we need to do with that. Outside of that, I think we have everyone else present today, so need to ascertain whether or not we have a quorum. John?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Everyone got a copy of my agenda for today? Did anyone have anything they wanted to add to that or any revisions to the agenda? So how many people are in favor of going forth and with the agenda as it was shared? Okay, that passes. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yeah.
Kind of lengthy. Seems to me I saw something like a spelling, but I don't remember. Someone please move to accept the minutes as they are presented by our secretary, acting secretary Sue. John moves, second. Ken second. All in favor? Approval of the minutes. Sue, I'm going to ask you therefore to forward these approved minutes to Linda Martin.
Okay. Now procedure, do I send it to Linda and to John and to you and everybody, or just?
To Linda, to John, to Stuart, and to myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Because Stuart actually sent me an acknowledgement, said thanks.
Yeah. He's warming his toes in the water.
Yeah.
What he has to do.
The new friends.
Okay, and that boy's dead. I just pulled him to use, so he's dead. All right, and I know I wanted to inform the committee of a couple of things. First, I wanted to let you know that Howard Webb contacted me personally, and I almost saw him last night. He thanked our committee for the card, and he indicated to me that prior to his mother's passing, he probably didn't look at cards like he's looking at them now and really reading them, and he was really appreciative. So I wanted to share that with you all. So I'd like to start with the water testing project. So I know you had indicated to me that maybe Dave was no longer going to be able to help with that.
Well, I was just telling you, the last couple of weeks, he just said, kind of handed it over to me, and I was like, do you really want to do this? He's, well, my work scheduled that. I'm gonna talk to him and see if he really wants to do it. I was just telling Michael and John that when I tested over in that area, I got way different numbers. Could just be the location, because it was over there by Border Links in that area, right by the bridge.
Right.
That could be different than where he is, which is more interior.
Maybe, yeah.
But I don't know. Are you guys having any problems at all, like entering the data? You are okay.
No,
because I wanted to check with Taylor. Taylor indicated he would like to keep our testing going, and he's still testing over at Whitehorse. He'd like to keep it going until October. What was it? I think it's October 24th. October 24th. So we do the 25th of September, October 9th, and then the 23rd as the last one. And then we get all the data together and see what we've got. And he was going to do some graphs and things. Because the only other thing about the water testing project is we discussed last time that John thought it might be a good idea for us to do like a little presentation or something.
I was gonna bring that up down in
Yeah.
unfinished business, so we'll talk
So,
about that then.
okay. So, I mean, he suggested the October meeting. I'm not sure when it
So
is.
that's October what?
October 23rd.
Is when the testing will
scheduled to
continue
finish.
until then.
Yeah.
And then you will be getting together, your committee, your group will be getting.
Yeah,
together for a meeting.
with Taylor over at Assateague Coastal Trust.
And that's
see
gonna be
what
the
we got.
30th?
I think we'll probably do that before then.
Okay,
Yeah.
so as to the testing area that Dave was in charge of, do you know if he asked someone to do that for him when he was unavailable?
He asked me.
Oh, okay. And did you do it then?
I did it
Okay.
once, but I mean, I was not available. I was out of town.
So do we need to find someone else to take his place?
I'm gonna just,
October
I'm gonna
23rd?
ask him, if he still
Okay.
wants to do it, and if not, we can hand it over to somebody else. Yeah.
Michael,
So I don't, yeah, thank you. You caught that.
Michael.
I always see Mike and I'm like, okay, that's my son. Who's
Yeah.
that guy? Unfortunately, this coming or next Wednesday, and I love the fact that you're every other Wednesday because it works out great with my
Oh,
schedule.
good.
That day I'm off and I
Oh,
can get
that's
it
good.
done. But I'm going to be on sale in the Caribbean next Wednesday, so I will not be able
Oh,
to do
lucky
it.
you.
So I.
I can-
is that for water
Yeah.
testing?
Now, see, now that I
Maybe you
know.
could water test remotely.
No, but
I
see,
would- Well, unless you want me to get a sample down there and compare that with
Wow, can you
ours.
and I
imagine?
know,
Can you imagine what that would be like?
in advance now,
Yeah, that
so
would be
I know that in
interesting.
advance, so I can go ahead and I can do that. I can do that next week, because I'd like to go and see Bainbridge anyway, because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, now I use a 12-foot pole to get out there to the depth
that the
that I
one, Taylor?
need. You
Is that the one,
can't get near that water. You
Yeah.
have to, I think it's risky trying to navigate around there. Because if you're,
I
you
planted
know,
plants in that water.
yeah, and I go,
Shoreline.
Does your husband go, you have to do that off the boat?
no, I do
No,
it,
do
I
the
do
pole.
it myself.
Okay, off the.
And I have a paint stick that I put the temperature strip
Yeah, I've
on.
got mine like on a plastic.
Yeah,
strip.
and I just tape it to the end of the pole, get it out there so that I'm in decent water, not where it's just draining off into, because it stays a constant 3
Yeah.
foot there
Well, we've got.
because of the drain is
We
right
got all
there.
kinds of broomsticks and stuff in there.
So, but what I've been doing, it's hard to do any of that testing right there. I literally take the temperature, check the depth, do all the things that I'm gonna need to fill out on the form, and then I bring it back and I can sit at my house and
Yeah, that's.
take
right.
the time to do it. But Taylor did mention it on the electronic form we're filling out, doesn't really match the form that we are filling out, because they ask you, what time did you start? But it doesn't ask you what time you ended. And he said he really needed that because they get credits. Like if we did
For
an hour and a
volunteer.
half, yeah, your time to drive there, time to come back, do your testing, they get federal credits for that. So I would
Right.
think he'd want to have that information on there.
It also
This-
doesn't have location. We've just been right.
I
Well, we
write-
know, we know.
Yeah, I've been
we
putting
know
in the
our
notes
vacation,
down the
our
bottom.
Location,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
those two things, yeah, but I think.
So then you share that with Taylor and he can,
Mhm.
Yes, on the internet.
draft it.
But
in a
our
different type of form
physical
that
sheet,
you do it for.
Yeah.
I just keep
Yeah,
that.
because
That's
it's
good.
for
It's a
backup.
good, it's a good form, but it's just like it does. It says start time should, well, this says start time, end time.
Yes, but not on the website.
Yeah, not on.
On
the-
his, on
yeah.
that side, you're not seeing that. I
Oh,
keep
yeah,
my copy,
yeah,
but
right.
he's not having that.
Yeah, if you wanted.
But he
us
did
to
explain
keep
to us it was
things-
important for getting the credits
Right.
that hours are people putting in for funding.
Yeah,
That's why they
That's
need
their
it.
volunteer time. Yeah.
Volunteer
information
time,
for the
right.
grant,
Yeah, okay, but it's not on the.
not on the computer.
Okay, end time. These are all good things. When you're doing a pilot project, you figure out these things, hopefully. Okay, and location. Okay, but I'll test next week at Bainbridge.
You want me to just give you my kit, or I can give you the poll if you want to use it? I just
Don't
worry,
drop it in
I
the
just
water.
worry about you being over there and misstepping
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
not easy to
I
test
don't know
it.
if you want, when are you leaving to go to the?
This weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
gonna
going
be
all
this-
next. all
Because I'm
next
gonna
week.
be gone after this afternoon till Saturday.
I'm gonna be here.
If you use your own test pills or
Mhm.
tablets, I'll just cut some out and give them back to you. So you have your supply.
I'm still working on, I'm almost finished with the original kit
Oh,
that
really?
that I had, that Brenda Davis gave me. It's
Oh.
nearly out of everything. So,
Okay.
but I have more kits. I ordered 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I
We're
got
only
them.
doing a couple, 2 more weeks. too.
Yeah, it's just a couple more
Yeah,
weeks. We should have some, and it's
Next year,
good,
yeah.
it's good for a couple of years, I think. So, we'll be able to start up in the spring again, and we'll have a lot more data.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it. What about,
Hopefully you'll figure out how our water is after you finish reading that manual.
well, he
Taylor's
does,
supposed to tell us.
yeah, Taylor
He's
does,
gonna get all this information.
Well, he said he's going through the
Yeah.
manual to figure out what,
Yeah, what it is we're testing.
Yeah.
It does explain it to you in there. If you gotta,
He
I
just
just try and do
didn't-
one at a time and
Yeah.
I take my time with it. I'm always recording at least an hour and a half. That's probably seems long if you've got a little experience with it,
I
but
better slow up.
I'm just taking my time with it
38 hours
because,
an hour they get.
yeah,
They get 38 hours an hour
Really?
for your volunteer time.
the credit for the
Yeah.
hours that you put in,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah. That's why it's important to have it on that document.
so I'll do September 25th. Yeah, if you want to give me your thing, I don't know.
So you took
Yeah.
have information.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
phone numbers or emails. They're on the membership.
Yeah,
You got that? Everybody got that?
I can send my husband over and get it. He never goes to Annapolis with me.
So we got the oyster cage in at the yacht club, thanks to John.
Is it still-
And I think the only question I had is, are you the one that goes down and
Yeah, I just cleaned it yesterday.
how often do you go?
I go every couple of days. I pull it up, look
Yeah.
at it and
Yeah,
see what's going on there. I just
it's
cleaned it with-
amazing the little seed oysters, how much
They're
they've
big.
grown, after how much they've grown. I
Yeah,
think we got
just
ours
from-
about, our new ones about the same time.
Yeah,
So,
great kids love it.
um,
They think they're growing something. So.
what do you have to actually do? What,
Nothing, just go.
You shake it up down and
you
The,
bring it out, you shake it like kind of back and forth?
Yeah, there's always something, there's shrimp on there.
Yeah, with
there's
little crabs, little
So
crabs.
knock
will be
them
in
off
there.
maybe,
But
or
then
No, I
it's
just open it up and get the little crabs out. I
Then
had
the
eels in
wire
there.
Stuff, he said, so I have a brush and I just kind of brushed it because the wire gets closed in eventually.
Okay,
I just brushed it off to make sure it was open.
all right, thanks.
Mhm.
So if you run into a problem, for example, if you go on a cruise for a week, you'll contact one of us and we'll step in, help out.
Yeah.
Tim knows what he's doing, right?
Do you think it's worth, like having, I mean, you took a picture of where it is. Do you think if I just put a little blurb so that we can put it on This Week in Ocean Pines to tell people?
Well, he sent us a picture, didn't you,
Yeah,
John?
but,
Mhm.
And you're thinking maybe forward that to Josh?
yeah, just
And
say,
ask
just
him
to let him know.
What
that,
it, why it's there, what it is, an explanation, not a bad idea.
There's two things with it. I mean, for right now, yeah, you saw the email from Joe.
Mhm.
Because it was both of us. And he had said that they had a problem with the swimming racket club, the
Yeah.
environmental
Yeah.
access.
Somebody
Somebody
vandalized it.
vandalized, they took it, they left it out, they stole it, whatever it was.
Yeah,
So they put it there and they hid it, so nobody could see it. So, I mean, so he had, I was gonna get two of them to start. And I said, let's just start with one and see what happens with this thing, if it's, if anybody's gonna play around with it or not. But he had suggested, we don't put it like out in the open. And I had thought originally the whole idea of doing this was to kind of promote the cages and things like that. Put a little sign up and say,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing at the marina,
Yeah.
you could do this too, or
Yes.
whatever it was.
Yeah, great
that was
idea.
the whole,
Yeah, that was that point of just,
yes.
I
Like an
know it's good to stick a cage in the water, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but, so right now it's on D-Dock, and who goes on D-Dock besides me going there and
Maybe-
boats
Me, my
there?
boat's
Maybe you could
there.
have a decoy.
Yeah.
Decoy is the one with the sign, this is what we're doing, and hopefully it doesn't get vandalized. But then you have all the other ones hidden.
Yeah.
I mean, you're tucked away.
At this point, there's two things. One, we're doing a good deed.
yeah,
Yes.
And it's promoting our committee that says,
Mhm. And our
we're taking an
project, yeah.
initiative, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
right.
So I thought maybe that's good for now, and maybe in the spring.
Think about a
maybe it's over
second
there
one.
In the winter,
Mhm.
yeah, get a second one, make
Okay.
a little sign up and say, okay, this is what we're, and see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I would think that it's less likely we would find vandalism at the yacht club than we would at the
So you're
swimming
not
racket.
kids over there,
Swimming,
yeah,
the
yeah.
swimming racket, I've seen in over the last 3 years, all types of vandalism, and I actually saw and had to speak to teenagers.
Shame. isn't it?
And I hate to think it's the same teenagers, but over at the, even off-season, people are at the yacht club, so I
Yeah.
think
Mhm.
it may be fine. Let's
Yeah.
just see how it goes. I agree.
I'd like to put it like at the walkway where people walk down, like you back it where the band
Mhm.
is, you know, so when people are walking around, they can actually
And do it there.
see it.
That would
Yeah,
be
put a
great.
little sign.
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's a
You know,
great
The bulkhead.
Like, how
Yeah.
many sign like you see it in the studio, like, yeah, this is,
Put it there, and I says, well, let me put it over here first and see how it goes. But I didn't, I know I'm not allowed to do this, so I have to go through the committees and all. But on the slide, I can ask him, can we put a sign up? And if he says yes, then I can go through the
Yeah.
right channels and say, we'd like to put a sign.
well, maybe as an interested resident.
That's what I mean, as a slip holder.
Yeah.
Can I, hey, can you point these, put a sign up and see what he says? But that's when he comes back, he'll be fine.
Does it have to be, weatherproof and all that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if is that something that Ocean Pines would have to put up? We would have to get permission?
Yeah,
Okay, so
see,
let
that's
me-
a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah.
You have to go through that, and that's a whole nother.
Okay, so what comes to my mind is the environment and natural assets
Mhm.
and their geese signs, and they asked for money
Oh, yeah,
for those geese signs, so that,
that's,
That
I mean,
may
that's a
be-
whole nother.
that's another thing to go.
I think we wait
Okay.
and just see what happens for this.
Yeah,
Thanks, John.
yeah.
So Michael informed me just before the last committee meeting, you weren't gonna be here and that you didn't have any feedback from the community for that meeting. Do you have anything this time?
What, yes, I'm wondering, how come I'm not receiving any information? Because Karen seemed to relay that, yeah, she was getting people contacting her with different things going on. So I had gone to Josh and gave him
The correct
This-
email?
the email that I set up specifically for the MAAC, right?
Yeah.
However, I just found out that they put it in incorrectly.
Oh, God.
So that's why nothing's coming through. And I've done test emails just to make sure I'm receiving them because I'm like, what? So I have to hook up with Josh. And then the second issue is, this is what he put on the activities committee directory, okay? And our email addresses. He took my other email off and put this one on there as my contact. So I don't know, I just did this just so that I could get immediate responses from people that are questioning. Nobody else would have this email. So now it's out there in this Ocean Pines world.
Okay, so this one
Right.
here, which says macpaul.maac@gmail,
Yeah.
that's the one that's supposed to be.
No, that's
you
incorrect.
personally?
Here it is here. Here it is here.
What's here?
And they have a, instead of the ALP, they have AL, or instead of MAP,
MAL,
you're right.
and it should be,
No C,
MAL.
there's no C.
so they have an MAC here,
Correct.
but that's the email that you want used by residents to contact you.
No, the one in the highlight, the green, the one
Okay, didn't you say you also have a personal?
I have a personal email address, which was showing on that directory.
Right, so shouldn't that be here? This is what's on the internet, MAC committee members and emails. Is that the one you want? You want
Well,
this one?
I was trying to keep it separate from that
Yeah.
information, but my next concern is, where is this going? How is this getting out there for people to know to contact someone from our committee?
So it has
Where's
traditionally
it
been
published?
that weekly email we get.
Okay, that's what I asked them to put it on. I told the girl this.
Okay,
And I said, you're gonna take Karen off of there because she's the one listed. I said, John Latham was listed first, Karen, and now you should put me in there on these weekly blurbs. So apparently it just didn't get done. I think they just updated or changed it here, and that was it, because I'm not getting anything.
okay, so you will follow up on that.
I'm
and then
gonna
you'll
go see
let us know
Josh.
next week.
I'll try and get in there today.
What is
He's-
that a list of?
Can you pass that back to Mike?
What's that?
This.
This is the committee members. You're on there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. I just happened to print it off. Yeah.
Yeah, because, and we also put it, I mean, like last time it went in, it was a blurb in that,
Tim, do you want a
Goes
copy
out,
of
goes
this?
out to all residents,
I have an
that
extra copy.
magazine.
Yeah,
That
Yeah,
has all
yes,
the
yes,
classes
please.
and
We're gonna
everything.
correct
right,
it.
that's the quarterly
quarterly,
report.
yeah.
Yeah, I have
So-
that one.
Yeah,
That's
But
this
that
one
had
here,
Karen-
Ocean Pines report.
yeah, that had Karen's name though in it, didn't it?
It did,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I'm not in there,
Okay,
so
okay.
I'm not getting contacted by anyone.
Here you go, Tim.
Might be a blessing, you don't know.
Boy, nobody
Could be.
wants to talk.
Nobody knew.
You know what happened is on my cruise and I get all these extra charges for for emails coming through.
100 people backed up worrying about this.
Backed up, yeah. And
And, okay, anything more on comments from the residents? So we'll look forward to a report next week. Thank you, Michael.
hopefully we'll get it straightened out.
Thank you.
Okay.
And anything, John, we need to know about parliamentary procedure? Anything you wanted to tell us we did wrong last month?
No,
Okay.
you had asked me before that, we have to have 3 members on the committee and not more than 9. So that's the span of how many people we can have on the committee. So we're a couple short at this point.
Right.
So
Well,
We
when
got
Karen left, nobody replaced Karen?
Mhm.
And Dave essentially is gone and we don't have a replacement for that. And Sue and I are, well, Sue's up, she was up on the 15th. She's not even lame duck, she's out, but she's, and I'm up at the end of the month.
Yeah.
But by the 28th of the month, we should hear something.
That's the board meeting.
Right, and
Yeah.
I'm not certain
So we have
that
7.
many people,
we have 7.
right, so we're good.
But we
Anyway,
have, but the ad is out. It says, vacancies on which
Yeah.
committees. and-
Yeah, but I don't
Have we
think-
gotten anybody?
Other than 2 people who are already on the committee,
Oh,
so,
interesting.
now I could be wrong, but that was my understanding.
Oh.
All right, so next month, it may just be, you 4 guys. Somebody will have to be the chair and somebody will have to be the secretary.
Sounds like we
Well,
got
flip
so
a
far.
coin. We got another guy in that seat.
How come
Well,
you're
you
not-
like Tim? He's not there. Put Mike on there.
We have to,
Right.
we haven't been.
Mike, you're now,
reappointed yet.
you're the treasurer,
They
you're
have-
the
the board has
secretary,
to
and the
appoint us.
president.
Okay.
If you're not here, you
You
can
get
vote,
everything.
you can vote it in.
You should be
It's very
voted.
easy.
All right, so let's move on to
By the
unfinished
28th, I
business.
think that's-
Absolutely. Are you too worried you may not?
Let
get
me ask you,
approved?
are we
back
listening
in,
to
or-
this?
I haven't done
Yes.
anything
All
wrong.
of
I don't know what I've done wrong.
All of us are?
Why do you think?
Oh, no, just
I don't know.
If you have any
Remember,
questions
you
about
have to
green
accept the polls
activities or,
Yeah,
This
sometimes Sue gets out of control.
Right,
and
but-
on
I've seen
Sunday.
those.
I didn't see it for
You know,
this.
on the internet.
But
Yeah,
are you the
and then
contact?
now we're at
Are
the
you
golf
the
club,
person
so I
supposed
do
to be?
golf club every
Yeah.
If I get it
every
updated.
race.
All right, let's move on to unfinished business, the charging document. I sent an email out to everyone asking if we needed to revisit this because Gary Miller, who was sort of organizing that, does everyone know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
That we voted on last meeting. And we decided not to support the motion. So they've gotten some feedback from the board president, Stewart. And there may be some type of compromise, but I'm not sure that's going to go forward. And then I sent that email out and I said, do we need to revisit it? And everyone that responded said, nope,
Yeah.
we took care of it, we handled it, we discussed it, and we stand where we stand. So we're not going to do that. I also wanted to mention that,
I'm just curious on
Yeah.
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Why do people want to be able to talk to people? I mean,
We're an advisory group. The
Right.
manager's responsible for the.
Right, I'm-
they don't understand the purpose of the committee, I think. And
that answers the question.
But did I hear you say that there's some waffling, maybe they might consider?
not as to directly speaking to,
Right.
but
having
as
two
to
advisors.
not having 4 executive advisory meetings, but the board
Okay.
may be considering having 2,
Okay,
which is fine,
but
but
they're not considering
not,
staff
no,
being
no.
available to us or whatever.
And there was a
You're not-
commentary in the paper.
It's a good way to lose staff.
There,
Yeah,
yeah,
You'll
you're
be
right about
annoyed
that.
by committee members. Forget it.
And then there was something, I guess everyone saw this. This is what sort of triggered, I think, Gary getting involved. This is the Ocean Pines Progress. It's the article from September. And it talks about Tim Peck and resigning and frustration over communication, if you wanted to see
Yeah,
that.
that was weird.
And then
I missed that.
Yeah, I don't want to share that one.
Yeah.
And then there was a commentary also in this September that talked about, hey, there's already a process. We don't need a new process. So I just brought those along in case you wanted to see
But
it.
I did see something where the new president, Stewart, said that might be room for two executive
Right,
council
yeah.
meetings a year.
Yeah, that was
instead
the
of one.
email that Gary sent us and I forwarded
I mean,
to everyone. So
I just don't think
Yeah.
quarterly meetings are.
then recently, Gary sent out a flyer regarding a meet and greet, and I questioned him as to, well, is this something sponsored by your committee? He said, no, it's sponsored by Ocean Pines and by the OC Ravens Roost, which he is a part of.
Me too.
And so I thought I would share that with you. So it's a meet and greet.
And it's open to the public. It
It's
was,
open
Oh, yeah.
to the public. It's going to be a fundraiser.
It's for the penguin swim.
right, I saw that.
Yeah.
One of the things that struck me was, and I think it's all great, do that, but what if a compromise on these groups that want the staff to come to the meetings, which is totally wrong, totally against it, but you had a meet and greet, rub elbows or something like that, where at least, like Linda Martin, I have no idea if I passed her or not, or I don't know if that would make sense. To just have a function where people could talk a bit with staff, but not the way they're suggesting when
Yeah,
they come to meetings
yeah.
and, hey, why aren't you doing this? Or
Right.
you should do that, or
Right.
whatever. That's total chaos.
Right.
But I don't know if how does that?
I know
resonate?
if I was staff, I would want to hear from committee members. I want to hear from my
But in a
boss.
more social.
No, I wouldn't want it.
At all?
We're still not supposed
I-
to approach them as a
I would,
committee
I mean, I
member.
am a business, believe me,
Right.
I would not want some advisory person telling my employees anything.
Sometimes when
Okay, if you ain't signing their paychecks.
cross the line,
Like I did, then I don't want to hear it,
yeah.
Right.
okay?
Yeah,
I
that was
don't
just
wanna
something that
hear.
crossed my mind when I read that. I thought, oh,
You had an insurance business, you want anybody
I,
telling your people,
I understand exactly what you're talking about.
All right,
you
so,
want anybody telling your people,
Chain of command, yeah.
forget it.
all right, anything else about that? We put that back. I think that's been put to bed. That
I mean,
document.
actually, it doesn't even involve us.
So the next bit of unfinished business I wanted to address was, and Sue already mentioned this, John Latham had suggested, particularly since Karen, I forget her last name, at the board meeting, the annual board meeting, was really concerned about the algae in the canals, and she was one of the residents that spoke at that meeting. And she had raised some concerns about the St. Martin's River and the canals and the continuing use of people specifically along the canal using fertilizer and chemicals and then blowing their cut grass into the canals and the result of it. And she didn't feel that enough was actually being said publicly by the board or by the community. And John had suggested that now that we're involved in the water testing project, that perhaps we could consider sending someone or a couple of people to I guess he wanted it for the next board meeting, which is the 28th of September.
You mentioned October. 'cause I
Okay,
think they have a pretty full.
Okay, so
agenda.
October,
Yeah.
perhaps we could send one or two individuals to talk about that. And I would want that to be someone, honestly, that's working on the water testing. I'm not, so I couldn't share.
I would like
anything.
to have Taylor too, because he's a really great spokesperson. They just did Delmarva today, did a little thing in Ocean Pines and he was on the boat. It was really good. Yeah, it was really.
I think when
really
people
good.
speak to the board, I think you're limited in the amount of time. Seems to me, John said they don't want to hear more than 10, 15 minutes, but I could be mistaken.
It'd be-
So,
Yeah.
Tim?
is it the board we're trying to convince about this issue, or is it the homeowner? It seems like the homeowner. And my thought is, the homeowner, if you're on the canal, probably isn't doing the cutting. It's a lawn maintenance. And so, how do we get to the root of the problem? If it's more of a lawn maintenance company that's coming in and doing it, and they're just running through
And
their
I think
cut-
that's a good question.
And the board may already agree and know everything we're saying. So is the
Well, John
message more,
thought-
how do we get to the individuals actually cutting the grass?
Well, and then my question would be, all right, first of all, let me address John's idea. which was, I'm not sure everybody on the board actually knows what your water
Okay,
testing is all
good.
about. So that was, it was just an information.
Mhm.
But you're concerned that how do we get to the people who are violating that? You know, I don't know. And does that go back to how do we get our neighbor to take their trash cans in? Or how do I get my neighbor to
Can't.
cut the weeds that are 2 foot high?
Mhm.
And that again seems to be the individual residents have to make a complaint for that to happen. And I don't know what the process is, so maybe we need to look into that. But I understand what you're saying. Maybe it's not me, but the company I've hired to do that. Then I think as a homeowner, I have an obligation to say, hey, by the way, you can't be doing that. You have to take it away. But I don't know.
But maybe we add.
But the downside is.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to hear what Tim says. I know.
And as I started to say this, it would be very difficult, but, you get the message to the lawn companies. Now, how do you find out which lawn company's doing what could be challenge? But they're the ones we want to educate the most because it's their person that's running up and down the.
But you got the
You know.
people that are.
Okay, let Tim finish.
That's fine, that's all.
You
Go ahead.
finish.
I'm done.
Stu, you were next. You would start to say something, and I got you, Ken.
Well, I thought that having this thing before the board was the number one thing was to counter what this woman said. Like, nobody's doing anything.
Right.
Nobody's paying any attention. That's not true.
Mhm.
And I think what the board was saying was, well, we'll find out what's going on in our community and we'll let you know. So we could do that. I mean, we could at least say, this is one thing that we're doing.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get, Taylor and I are gonna work on getting this thing done.
What are you pointing
especially
at?
For spring. This was something they put out, and it's actually Maryland state lawn regulations.
Okay, so this is from Assateague,
Assateague Coastal Trust.
and this is 10 ways to keep your lawn green.
These are actually
And protect
Maryland lawn
our
regulations.
Is-
Yeah, we
So
might
you go
put
after the
this,
company doing the cutting and doing that.
yeah.
Can I
No.
interject?
Yeah, Ken.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, just like in my neighborhood, there's lots of lawn services for people that don't live here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and could care less about this. It's just their summer homes and they also have homes in Florida. Okay, no,
Yeah,
for
okay.
real,
I hear
no, a
you.
lot on my block,
A lot of
okay?
part-time.
And they're really not gonna get started with their lawn service. Just, my house looks nice, I'm happy.
Mhm.
So unless you can find people,
Maybe not.
unless you can find people, I don't believe you'll see any action in terms of convincing the lawn service.
Mhm.
They're back in Philly, DC, Baltimore, Washington, Pittsburgh. And all I know is when they show up on July 4th, the house looks great.
Yep. Yeah, so how do you,
Yeah,
Change
we have
that.
the same.
And
that's
then
what I was
and then
thinking.
they're gone for 4 months,
Right.
5 months in the winter.
Mhm.
Just keep it up.
so if there's something legal, I mean,
Yeah.
that's where you go after,
Wanna
you
fast
go
around.
after the company.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
caught my.
Well, you have to go, you have to go up
This
the
caught my
homeowner.
eye. I didn't even realize.
You have to go after the
Reading it, I've been
homeowner.
reading it, I mean.
The homeowner has to
But
be
this might
fined.
this might be what, I don't know how much it's really gonna help, but this might be what we're.
Well, it'll work,
Yeah.
but that means you're gonna have called the environmental, and I can tell you what's gonna happen. DNR is gonna come in and fine your neighbor, and they're gonna point out that you reported your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Be my guest.
Okay, so Tim, as you look at Oprah, is that
You may wanna
information-
move.
Tim, that might be, that we may want to have Josh put in the weekly.
Sure, I mean, yeah.
Even if
yeah,
it's
oh, yeah.
once.
Need the stuff on the
Yeah.
other side.
Well, I think it's a good idea to
But
post
it is,
it,
right
Post
here.
it,
but
I'm
everything
trying to
else,
get
conversation.
I agree. I'm just trying to find a way to,
You have to find, you
Yeah.
can, the law lets you do it. And they will say you reported them, your neighbor. It's gonna point to you.
Okay.
Good luck with
All
it.
right, so, so we previously talked about having something placed in having Josh place something in the weekly.
This is a good idea.
You didn't
Yeah,
go
I
back
didn't
to
know it was
the,
a regulation.
Yeah, I
You
know.
I just thought it was.
We talked
guidance.
about it a
But
year
yeah.
ago. I brought it up. Remember back
Okay,
to
if I
the
can have everyone's attention,
sending somebody to the.
oh, say that again.
You never got, you're still on the, sending somebody to the board meeting to tell them what we're doing.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that back to
That's
our
what you
attention.
wanna-
All right, so, let's start with the first thing. Who would be willing to go to the board meeting in October. The October board meeting, I don't know when the date is,
I don't need
or if they are available, would be willing to go. Anyone on the committee?
as long as it's not October 30th, I could do it. Because I'll be an election judge. In early voting.
Do you want to make sure that Josh is available for that meeting? Whenever that,
You mean,
Taylor, I'm sorry.
Taylor?
Taylor is
Yeah,
available.
yeah, it should. Yeah.
Do you
I,
think
when do you know when the meeting? We should probably figure that out first.
How about if somebody pulls out their phone and Googles that for us? Google Ocean Pines Board of Director? No? I'll try to do it. I always like to say I'm
It's
too old to be on a
fine.
computer.
I don't,
Oh, here you go,
oh,
oceanpines.org.
yours is quick. Mine's still trying to
There you
load.
go. Oh, I can't get anything in here.
Yeah, I think, mine's not loading.
No.
We could probably ask somebody there
I
and
can't get
they'd
anything.
be easier.
All right, how about, here's a suggestion. I'm going to assume that Sue, you're willing to be at least one of those people that attends
Mhm.
if it's a time that you can attend. Now,
Roger.
would you be willing to find out the date of the next meeting, or do you want me to do that?
Yes, that's okay, because I'll have to ask Taylor.
And then you'll contact Taylor and then
Yeah.
get back to me, so I know
Okay,
that someone's going to go.
okay.
And do you think that's sufficient? Do you think that Sue and Taylor could do a nice short presentation on our project? And let's get John in the loop on this, so he knows what we've decided. Do we need to vote on that?
No.
Okay, thank you. Are we good with that, folks? Anything to add to that? Now, as to this other thing that Sue just shared with us about proper lawn care to protect our waters. Did anyone, do you think we should see if we could share that with Josh and have at least one posting for,
Yeah, before we're shoveling snow instead of cutting fences would be good.
Right, this might be a good thing for the spring.
so,
Yeah,
so if
a lot of
I,
people are fertilizing now. too.
if I am on the committee and if I am approved to be chairperson, I think I shared with everyone that I wanted to create committees. We talked a little bit about that last week. I don't know if anyone's agreed to this yet, but, do we have someone who's already the person that contacts Josh? Is there one person that does that? Who would be willing to be that liaison between our committee and Josh? This is what we'd like to consider placing in there. And do we need to go through, we have to get approval from the board, is that correct? We have to ask John to, I think it has to be approved. We can't talk directly with Josh, right?
I got permission this last time to do it.
But you said you got permission.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
Yeah.
that comes from,
from John.
okay.
Yeah.
So can I have someone who will do that all the time? When we have something that we want to possibly have published by Josh, and we'll go through John Latham, our liaison, will someone be responsible for doing that? And I could just say, okay, we want that to go. Ken, that's your job, right? You're the committee person, the subcommittee. Is there anyone's gonna volunteer to do that?
Somebody's laughing over there who's writing.
Oh, somebody
I
up
mean,
there.
I know him and I.
And you
I
have
can-
all the stuff.
I can write it,
You
I
have-
can
but
write
you
it
have
up
all the
like,
stuff.
I can.
Okay,
write-
so for this particular project, you're gonna touch base with John
Yeah,
and then,
I'll feel out the subcommittee thing.
all right. I refuse to allow you to be the subcommittee person
You're all the
for 5 out of 6.
You're saying we're at the yacht club, we can't talk to Kaepernick or any of these guys about any of this stuff like they want to talk to it about us.
To whom?
Friday and Saturday nights
Who
when they
can't we
come to
talk
the
to?
yacht club. The board talks to all of us.
Well, you can talk to them, but just don't talk business.
They bring it out.
Well, then,
Then you can talk business.
yeah, then you can.
You got it. You know where they are. You're there too.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, Sue.
Okay, I'll do that, because I'm working on it anyway, I'm just.
All right, and then the other thing, I remember what it was. the photo of your float at the pier, that would be the second thing
Yeah.
also. All
Yeah,
right.
that's just, I mean, that's just a couple of lines, just to let it,
All right, so
that
in
we're
the-
doing something.
So in the minutes, I want you to
Good
note,
publicity.
in the minutes, please note that Sue has agreed to contact John Latham, permission to speak with Josh about 2 articles, and those would be the oyster cage at the Yacht Club Marina,
Mhm.
and then this information that you received from Assateague Coastal.
May I bring something up about this as well?
Okay, are you gonna ask me?
No, I'm gonna ask her.
No, I'm
Can I
gonna,
ask you?
yes, what would you like to bring up?
About 8 months ago in the meeting, we brought up about sheen on the water in this
Yeah.
as well. So you may want to look back on those minutes because we've been discussing the water quality for a long time. Remember,
Yeah,
we
we have.
discussed about sheen on the water and all.
Yeah, well, grass cuttings are they're gonna give you
And the
you know,
oil, the
phosphorus,
whole
phosphorus and the nitrogen and all
But
that.
I'm saying, well, the whole thing about water quality,
Mhm.
we've been on top of it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not like we can change it, but we can let people know.
Don, is that woman's complaint about water quality where nothing was being?
Nothing's being done about anything. She's a complainer.
So,
No,
yeah,
okay, let me address that. Her point was, all this stuff is going on and I don't hear the board addressing these issues. So her concern is that she's not seeing it in the newspaper, she's not hearing it. I brought a copy of the article about that, I believe. Yeah, okay, here it
in
is.
this presentation to the board, is it the right thing to do to say, okay, this is what we are doing as a committee?
Mhm.
Blah, 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 blah. Not just focus just on the water.
Yeah,
system,
right.
But say, okay, this is what we do. We inform, well,
Yeah.
about the buoys, about the
Right.
no-wake zones.
The no wake
about
zone,
the-
it's all the.
About the water quality, about, all that kind of stuff. So it's a full point of, this is what we do to help the community stay informed about what we're doing.
Okay,
Is that-
Yeah,
so,
so not
But John-
focused
but
just
John
on
was
the
saying-
water, not focused just on the water.
Okay.
test.
Yeah.
so
I agree.
let me answer the question.
Mhm.
What John's idea was just this one project. Ken and I spoke to the Angler Club, and we probably talked for 40 minutes about every project our committee has been involved in over the years and what we're doing going forward. That can be an extensive
Mhm.
presentation. And I agree with you, that's not a bad idea, but I'm not sure that, I had the impression that John wanted something short and sweet,
Mhm.
just to inform the board members on this project. Now, going forward, I think that's a grand idea.
Mhm.
So let's
So we're
table
just
that.
gonna focus on the water, on the pilot project that we're doing with
Right.
coastal Coast.
I'll tell you what, though, when Ken and I went to that angler club, I think they call
That was Jerry,
themselves.
Jerry,
Looters.
Jerry Luter, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry's Club,
Mhm.
yeah. We were shocked that they didn't know some things like, for example, 6 miles per hour versus no wake, and they were like, we didn't know that. Or some of the other things that we were involved in, and they were like, we didn't know that.
Notice the mayors, they didn't know any of this stuff.
And they were kind of shocked at
think
what we
that they
were
would.
doing.
Yeah,
Of anybody. It
Because some of the people in that club were previously on this committee. And so what
Right.
they used to do and what we're doing is outstanding. And that's really the purpose of that end of the year report that we turn in. We fill in one page, which is what I thought we did. Other committees have pages and pages and pages of explanation, but that's really not what they want. But hey, you just bullet but that's a good idea.
Mhm.
We might want to be invited to other committees and share.
Mhm.
That's a
Well,
really,
we're
really
Why
good
is the
idea.
environmental committee more involved in this algae?
Okay, well, let's hold that. Let's move on with our
Well, they have,
agenda.
Yeah.
Ken and Sue, the next thing on the agenda, I have the marine debris blunder
No,
and
it's plunder.
plunder. I said blunder again. I kind of like that. Okay. John received an email from Cindy Hoffman. She's a reporter with
Yeah, you told me, yeah.
Well, I'm telling the whole
When you were,
committee right now.
when you were driving.
Yeah, well, I'm telling the whole committee now. It's Cindy Altman, and who's she with? Ocean?
No, she's with the Progress.
Okay, she's with the
monthly
Progress.
Publication.
She was interested in what was going on with our committee and our involvement with the marine debris funder, because she assumed that we were actively participating with Sandy Smith,
Coastal Bays.
because this is something we've been involved in the past, and because Ocean Pines is sort of sponsoring
Yeah,
it. And what Sue indicated to me is that, I said, well, we aren't really involved in it. She said, no, the environmental committee, is it?
No, it's actually Recreation and Parks.
Recreation
Yeah.
Parks, and I
Yeah.
sent her the name and email information on the committee chairman, and I said, why don't you contact them?
Because
and find out.
last year they had they collected all the debris and they had the dumpster and everything where people, brought their
Right,
stuff and
right.
weighed it and all that.
Oh.
It was way down in West Ocean City, but it's back at Whitehorse.
So this is at September the 22nd.
It's
That's this
Saturday.
weekend, right?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
And is anyone in here participating? I only want to know because she's going to want feedback. She said, anyone in your committee that's participating, let me know.
I'm away.
Oh, you are cruising. Okay.
Sorry.
If you could plunder while you're down there.
That I made.
But
Is it
I'm
on the
not.
22nd,
It's the
Sunday?
I thought it was a Sunday, but
Yeah.
maybe the 22nd is a
22nd.
Saturday.
Second to
Yeah.
Sunday.
Okay,
22nd's to Sunday.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What time is that?
It's from 10, I believe it's 10 to 1. And they're gonna have the guy that plays does Jack Sparrow is really funny. He's really good. He's kind of scary how he gets into it, but he'll be there and kids.
And you're not going to be around, like you won't
I
even
won't
be.
I won't
I'm
be
going to
there.
try to at least go over for a period of time and
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll
see what's
stop by.
happening, maybe take some photos, but I'm not going out on the boat.
Yeah, you can do it by land too. They're gonna have a cleanup crew. Just
Okay.
in Whitehorse.
Okay.
In that area.
All right.
Down in the walking path and all that. So
All right, well,
Don't they
thank
do
you.
this pretty regularly?
every year. Yeah, but
Then
but
there's
actually
other ones as
Coastal Bays goes out with their boats at this time
Yeah.
of year in the fall.
All right,
And
so
they
if
go
we
out
can
and
move
collect
on
those spots.
from unfinished business
So,
and move on to the new business. Did anyone attend the Environmental and Natural Assets Committee meeting on August the 28th? I know I had it in my notes. I
I-
wasn't able to do it.
I
September the 28th.
noticed in the minutes that
Oh,
Don Walsky attended our meeting
Yes,
at
he
my
did.
He was here.
suggestion.
Yeah.
I didn't know if
For
it-
that, Michael.
Yeah.
He was very informative.
I couldn't make it, but I told him, please, if you can, show up.
Yeah.
He was
gives us
okay.
a lot of
Yes.
background. He
Yeah,
gives
we shared a
background
lot
on
of
the Oyster
information.
Cave stuff.
And this goes back to other committees who aren't being proactive in interacting with committees. We are proactive. We invite them, and there's a good example.
Yeah.
And that's not the first.
Yeah.
So did we also discuss that we wanted to invite someone in particular to our October meeting? Any one of the other committee chairpersons?
Which one would that be?
No, Rec and Parks, do we want to invite them? And I don't remember, I just put it down in the back of my mind, I thought maybe,
We're talking about
Michael?
needing someone to help water test.
yeah,
This Don Walsky, as I explained to him what we were doing, said that he thought he was supposed to be included with the water testing as a representative from the environmental committee. So I don't know, did we miss him somehow?
No, I didn't think we were doing that, but
Oh, okay.
I mean, was
Was it already?
why don't,
yeah,
well,
Already
we
started?
had already started, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, I think that
I
may
mean,
have
maybe
been,
for the future,
Maybe in
you
the
know.
spring.
no, he made that comment, he did,
He asked for the locations.
And he asked for the
wanted to ask for all
locations,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, he
Yeah.
asked for that, and, so how many more are you doing?
Only three more tests, 1, 2, 3.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
and then we won't do any more till spring.
so Steve, it might be a good idea for, you know what, I'll contact him, I'll contact Don.
Okay.
He might,
And
he might.
Indicate to him that there's only 3 more tests, but if we get this restarted, we'd sure
Okay.
like him to be part of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the board gave us enough money for enough kits and we can actually get a whole year of testing, which is what you really need. We can't, a couple of months is not gonna give you a full picture. But I bet it's gonna be different in spring than it is right now, so. when we have algae bloom. Yay! I've been testing down at the end of Mankling Creek. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I have a friend who lives down there.
Does
He can only
water
get
ever move?
he can only get his boat out, like certain times, and
Sure.
it's just
shallow.
it's absolutely
I have a personal friend that lives on the up further.
He's on Alden Court. It's right down at the end. It's swimming rapids like over like on the other side of the woods. So you're going down there and it's nice and quiet, and then you hear dink, dink, dink.
Okay, I just made a note to myself. You could put in the minutes so that way I read the minutes and remember, I better do this.
Better do this.
Okay, is there anything else that anyone thought we maybe wanted to talk about under new business, Tim?
Well, I don't know if it's new business, but it was when we were talking about the cages and all. I thought a meeting or two ago, we spoke about the individual who builds and constructs them.
That's
There's some
Joe.
issues
That's
with
Joe.
him, with
No,
that.
it was
That's
actually,
Jankowski.
it was
Yeah.
actually the Maryland Coastal Bays that they were previously providing them to.
Right.
So,
people.
so hold on a minute. What's the question? I'm sorry.
Well, one, what was the issue? But I remember exactly. And then part of that was, have we as HOA, Ocean Pines, help out? I thought it was something about
Yeah, 'cause-
budgeting, the money.
Okay,
for
so there was
the
funding
cages, but I'm
money.
not- So I wasn't sure what the issue was. Yeah.
Is it the St. Martin's River that
No,
we
no,
got
no,
the money?
no, the funding was Maryland Coastal Bays.
Okay.
So that dried up.
And they don't have.
Yeah, dried
that-
up.
They don't
dried
have
up.
it. Is
Okay.
the
But-
way we,
Mhm.
Ocean Pines,
Mhm.
can step up to help out. Do we want to? step
Okay,
up
so
to help out?
My
If so-
understanding is Joe, and is it Jankowski?
Yeah, Joe makes the cages.
Joe makes the cages, so you pay him.
Yeah.
But the problem is now he can't keep up with the demand or
Yeah.
so that may be an issue, that he can't keep up with the demand for the cages. But you pay for it. So whatever it costs him to make it, that's what he charges you.
It's $45.
Yeah, it was,
Okay.
and you get the oysters with, you get the seed oysters with
Oh,
it.
so,
Is there a way we can help in getting more? Do we want more cages? And if so, is there a way?
So do we
Well,
want to
I mean, we just want
Well,
to encourage
just-
people to buy them, I think,
but he can't keep up with the demand.
that's what,
Is there somewhere else we can go to get him? I'm not trying to undercut him or take him out of business but if our whole program is stalling out because we can only produce, one guy can only produce 10 a week or 5 a week or
I don't
whatever.
know if it's stalling out. I think
said he
I
had
think I was supposed to,
Yes.
I was supposed to ask, how many were actually in the program.
Over 100, you said.
Well, I know, but is that, he made the cages or is the Maryland Coastal Bays cages that people have
Yeah, I
had
don't
for a
know.
couple of years? I don't know.
He said he has cages.
okay, he
Okay.
does.
He had, when I contacted him, he said, I have several here.
Yeah, he
He
makes
said,
them,
"Whatever
Okay.
it's his hobby.
He
He makes
keeps
them,
doing
puts,
it,
he
yeah.
puts them in the
Right.
garage.
Would you want to just touch base with him and say, we talked about it, we were concerned, is there anything we can do to help out? Do we want to invite him back to the committee meeting? I really enjoy listening to him.
Yeah, that was my point. Is there a way we can help out? At first I thought it was money had dried up. And so he maybe.
And maybe
that's.
I
the
know,
reason-
he
may not-
cages.
I can do it, but it may not be a bad idea. I mean, he said he's retired. He's doing this for. a
Yeah, I know,
hobby.
he's a friend of mine. Yeah.
It may not be a bad idea to have him just come
Mhm.
and you can ask him everything right here.
He might
as
want,
opposed to-
because I told him that my husband Jim needed something to do to get out of the house. So I said, you should go help Joe make
Start a
cages.
factory over there.
Go make cages,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't, you know him better than me.
Yeah.
I've met him twice, but I mean, he made us want to come and just say, and answer those questions. What else can we do to help
Yeah.
you?
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know.
because they just announced, Coastal Bays just announced,
complex are
hey,
they,
we're not
these
gonna have.
cages?
Pardon me?
How complex are they?
They're real simple.
They're very
Yeah,
simple,
they're
they're
simple.
floats, it's like PVC pipe and there's
Oh,
that
okay.
netting that.
Okay, so, should I invite him to be a guest at our October meeting?
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah,
I think
and I
it'd be a
think
good
the
idea.
basic question is how,
How can
What
we
can
help?
Do to help.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
can we do to
that's
promote it?
that's all I'm after.
right, I think so, that's good.
Put that in the minutes,
I will.
please, thank you.
Call on me when you get a chance. I have a question I want to ask.
I see your hand over there, Ken.
My question is with this, because I know we discussed this water quality issue, whether it's algae, sheen, et cetera. And it goes back to what I was trying to ask before. Are we replicating what the environmental committee's doing?
No,
No,
no, not at all.
And how do we, what's the difference between the two, if you can enlighten me?
They're not doing any
They're not
water
doing any
testing.
water testing, and they're not associated with SD Crystal Trust either.
Mm-mm.
So they're not doing any, I got it.
No.
Yeah, they're not associated with the community
You answered my
resources.
question.
And Assateague Coastal Trust has been and will continue to do, but bacterial testing. They test for bacteria.
Yeah,
We're supplementing what they're doing.
but
So,
the environmental committee's not doing any of
No, they're
this. Got
not
it.
as far as I know. I mean, I think we asked him, didn't we, when he was here?
Did it?
Yeah, he said no.
no. And we had even asked them, does
You're
anybody
buzzing.
on your committee want to get involved with this in the future? And he said, well, he didn't know. I think they're still in flux.
Yeah, because
Because
their
the
chairman
committee's
resigned, their
internal.
chairman
Yeah.
resigned and there's some.
So the
resentment.
purview's ours when it comes to this, even though it's an environmental issue. I mean, it's an environmental
I think
issue.
it's overlaps,
I think,
really.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's almost like we took the.
that's just what I'm saying. We
Sure.
took the, yeah,
We
Yeah.
took the-
that's what I'm trying to understand.
That in your,
Hey,
put that in
we
your
took it.
speech. that
Proactive.
We took the initial action.
No, but
I
that's a
like
good,
that.
but that's
the
a
phrase I
very good
use.
point.
Proactive, and that's one
That's
thing
a
that
very
Dunbar
good
said
point.
about our committee. Donna's correct. You have to be proactive and you have to be persistent. And that's what our committee did.
Mhm.
It's good. That's a good.
We took
point.
ownership of the issue.
Yeah.
But I think what you're really driving at is there's two committees here that really overlap a lot and it's gray area.
Well, you just straightened out the gray area. They're not doing what we're doing.
Yeah, well,
It's just that
Yeah.
simple. She just said,
But it could, because we were proactive.
you would think that they'd be doing it.
All right,
But
so,
it turns out they're not.
so if
If
you,
I were an outsider looking.
I now
Go to the
understand.
environmental group.
It's just that simple.
okay, thank you, gentlemen. If you go on the Ocean Pines website and you can pull down the departments, committees, and it will tell you what our purpose is.
Their
Mhm.
purpose.
And you can see what we're supposed to be doing. So you
You
can
can
read
even look at
that.
their minutes.
That's
You
right.
can
Look-
pull their
yeah.
minutes up and review the
Right.
past years,
Enlighten me on
their
that.
annual report.
Okay, so I'm
Enlighten me. We're-
gonna move on.
Well, I want to just hear about this.
Okay, well, now, if we can move on to the,
I'll get you.
you can talk after the meeting. If we can, we don't have any public comments, and I don't see anyone that has joined us remotely. So if you want to make note of that, so no one's here today, no public are here. Before I adjourn, I want to mention that our next meeting will be October, I think I had it, the 15th. We'll be here in the same room. It will be at 10 a.m. And then I do have an important question. Should I not be able to be present as the chair? Is there someone who feels comfortable enough to take that over? Now, in the past, Dave had me as secretary take over and we asked someone else to take the minutes. I'm not sure how we want to do this, but I would like to know if someone is going to be willing to chair the minutes, chair the meeting, or someone's willing to be the secretary. I don't want someone to come in here like I did a couple of months back at the last minute and I had to chair and take the minutes.
Mhm.
So I don't want that to happen, but should I not be able to be here? It's not that hard. And I'll tell you what, I work on that agenda. I can shoot it over to you with ideas and you can walk through it. It's pretty simple.
Mhm.
I don't want everybody at once to tell me, but you can secretly contact me if you need. If it means I have to ply you with free food. But I need someone that I can depend
Yeah,
upon.
I think the
I would
parliamentary.
love to be able to do this.
I
for you,
know.
But I'm telling you, I'm coming apart at the seams trying to keep up with what I'm involved in right now.
I'll do it.
That's
I'm telling
fine.
you, I am just,
John said
Michael,
he would do
I
it.
am
Thank you.
overwhelmed with everything that I have
And
going
we
on.
thank you. And it's more than just our committee.
What's
Yeah,
It's
I-
like-
I'm education chairman for the Power Squadron. I'm
Okay.
the state, the entire state of
Oh,
Delaware.
doing a 10-step program. for the
Masons of
state. No,
Delaware,
okay?
risk
No.
manager for the state. So
So everyone, John has agreed that you would take over
Just
as,
as long as you're never away.
okay. John has agreed to take over as chairperson, should I not be here, and Sue is gonna be dedicated to her job, okay?
Mhm.
But if Sue is not here because Sue's got personal issues, sometimes she's out of town with her mother, someone's going to need to be secretary. And that's easy. You get a copy of the agenda and you just write down next to each thing what was said. It's simple. So
There's a new format that we are using based on the agenda.
yeah,
So It should be.
This is tape recorded, isn't it?
It's being recorded, yes.
This is tape recorded, isn't it?
It's being recorded, yes. Still need to have the minutes. We have to submit them unapproved. We have to submit them approved.
No, I just.
Yeah, we have a whole process. All right, you can think about that, folks. Who's not here?
And we should,
Michael,
we should-
Mike Reynolds.
Who does the recording? Where's the recording, minute record? Do you just do it here or through here?
It's through there.
Through the-
Yeah.
How do you access that?
Well, contact Linda Martin. She can take
Okay.
it.
I'm just curious.
Info at Ocean
If you're
Pines
taking
dot-
minutes, you may want to refer to that. Because
I
other
know.
organizations I belong to, we record every
Yeah,
meeting, and then the secretary can go back and review them just to get the wording correct.
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know what? This team meeting thing is kind of new, like it's in the last year, maybe. We didn't have it prior to this, all of this recording, so
Mhm.
Hmm.
that's good. I always put at the bottom of my agenda, the purpose of our committee. Purpose of our committee is to advise the board of directors on policies and concerns relating to marine activities affecting Ocean Pines subdivision. And that's what we do. And I want to thank you again. You're all doing a great job. And I don't want anyone to go out of here and say, I strong arm them to do anything. Anyway, anything else? Anyone want to talk about anything else? Then I would ask if someone would give us a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
A motion to adjourn.
Michael,
Yes.
second, please.
Second.
Tim, second. I saw Tim's hand today.
Yeah,
Okay.
you want-
And we're adjourned at 11:01 a.m. and I will see everyone next month and maybe even before that.